Alright, so, I'm going to be talking about another comic review, and this is one I've been dying to read, and it's actually, I'm lucky I got this. It's starting to, it's actually was kind of difficult to find, and even Amazon was like, we only have a X amount of books left, you might want to get it now, and get it, I did. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Tarzan on the Planet of the Apes, or Tarzan Planet of the Apes. Either one's acceptable. So this is the, for those who remember, there was like a hot minute where Boom Studios was just crossing over Planet of the Apes with a lot of them. And this, like, kind of makes sense. Star Trek made a lot of sense. Kong made the most sense. And then there was a Green Lantern crossover. I also find it funny that they crossed Planet of the Apes. They did one where it was Kong was the Kong license was under Boom Studios, the comic license, and then they did one with DC. They did one with IDW. That was the Star Trek one, and then they did this one with Dark Horse. Which, by the way, I guess Dynamite and Dark Horse share the license because yeah, they do. Dynamite also does Dark Horse. Does Tarzan books too, but they call it Lord of the Jungle. But I guess it's kind of like it was like a Red Sonja thing, where even though Red Sonja is technically a Conan character, Dynamite had it. Now it was over at Conan was over at Dark Horse, but now it's at Marvel. So yeah, yeah. But this is it's nice to see Dark Horse do crossovers in this day and age. It's kind of fun. But yeah, this is written by David Walker and Tim Seeley, who most of you guys know best for Hack Slash. And yeah, like I said, I freaking love Planet of the Apes. It's one of my favorite film franchises. I don't get to talk a lot about Planet of the Apes on here, and when I do, I tend to gush. So, and to prove how much of a fan I am, check it out. Little statue of the lawgiver. Yep. Anyway, so let's dive right into this comic. Now, this was written in 2018, I believe, and what it is basically a story where it's always the trouble with doing Planet of the Apes crossovers because it's difficult because there's like you can only do an X amount with it, right? You can only do like an X amount because yeah, for those who don't know, the Planet of the Apes dies. Like, it just gets nuked from the inside out and beneath the Planet of the Apes, in the movie Beneath the Planet of the Apes. And it's kind of like an endless circle. So it's really and it's very tight locks. So you really got to do like some, and what I've seen for the past 3 crossovers is like it basically deals with that little time frame in between Planet of the Apes and Beneath the Planet of the Apes. But this one kind of takes that and does something a little different with it, in that it does an alternate take on Escape from the Planet of the Apes, which is where, just to talk about it real quick, this is basically where Zira, Cornelius, and another guy, Dr. Milo, took Taylor's ship and blasted off into space and slingshotted back in time to the 70s, where they had a son who they named Caesar, who would eventually become the ruler and leader of the Planet of the Apes. But this is a different scenario, where Cornelius and Zira and Milo instead traveled further back in time. They traveled into the 18th century, like the 1800s, where they landed in Africa and became the leaders, after Milo had died, they became the leaders of the Magani, the tribe of apes that took in Tarzan. And they also raised Tarzan as their second son. Instead of naming Caesar, he becomes Milo in honor of Dr. Milo. So to quote Samuel L. Jackson in Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts because this is going to get a lot crazy, a lot more crazy. Now, you'd think, oh, it's a cool, like, what if scenario. Like, that's a neat idea. It's a little more difficult than that because this comic for 5 issues packs in a lot. I don't know if it's like a pacing thing, but like I said, it's 5 issues, and it like the story begins in the future of the distant future of 2016, which is odd because that wasn't 2000. They landed in that, like, that bothered me because it's like it's not 2016 in the movie. It was like over in the year 3000. Like, I get it, you made that comic in 2016, but like, or 2017, but like that's not the point. That's not it. So that bothered me. But again, this thing deals with different timelines conflicting with one another. Because yeah, Cornelius and Zira landing in the further back than they were supposed to has kind of caused a disruption in time, and they are essentially devolving time at a rapid pace, and is basically dealing with conflicting timelines back and forth. Sometimes you forget that Tarzan's in the book. Like, that's kind of like towards the end, it feels more of a Planet of the Apes comic than it does a Tarzan Planet of the Apes comic. And Tarzan's only on the Planet of the Apes for 2 issues. Because really what this is I feel like they had so many ideas and they wanted to crush it in there that it all, and try to do it all in 5 issues, I was like, I feel like this is all kind of trying to do too much in too little time. Because you're dealing with, you think at first, the first big villains of the story are the Mahars, who, if you don't know who the Mahars are, they are a race of psychic pterodactyls who rule over Pellucidar, the city at the center of the Earth, which was another Edgar Rice Burroughs book. The Mahars also, it's funny because I had flashbacks because the Mahars play a major role in the Predator Tarzan crossover, which that one was disappointing. I wouldn't say this is disappointing. It is fun, and I do like the story that that Caesar and Tarzan are raised as brothers. I like that. And this one, it doesn't feel like it's trying to do way too much with the Tarzan lore. It does enough, but like it's still finding like fun ways, and it does feel more like a Planet of the Apes book, because it feels like Tim Seeley and David Walker were like, yeah, we get to do this comic, but oh yeah, we got to do this with Tarzan. Yeah, but it makes sense. Like, this is a crossover. Like, even though they are from different timelines, like I knew time travel was going to play a big part in this. There's a lot of fun back and forth, and more or less, like, this is dealing with what do you do when you are faced with a insurmountable odds. Like, you just keep going, and it does do a lot of weird stuff. Like, it does stuff with Dr. Milo, and from a different timeline. You also have Taylor, who dies in this timeline. It's kind of conflicting, and like, it moves at such a breakneck pace. You're like, oh, stop for a minute. I need to catch my breath. We're only got 5 issues. And then it just abruptly stops. There is some good action, and I think the core of it is Caesar and Tarzan's relationship as adopted brothers in this continuity. I really enjoyed that back and forth. The artwork is very pulpy. I really do like the artwork. Looks very painted. Just to give you a quick look at the Mahar, real quick. Is it Mahar or Mahar? People say Mahar, so I'm going to say Mahar. But yeah, it's a decent book. I wouldn't say it's the best of the crossovers. Now, in fairness, I haven't read the Green Lantern Planet of the Apes one, but now I own 3 of the 4. So, yeah. I still think the best one is the Kong crossover, but to be fair, the Star Trek Planet of the Apes one is also pretty good, damn good too. All in all, not a bad comic. I would say if you are if you were curious about reading like some more Tarzan and also checking out with Planet of the Apes, I would say, yeah, this is definitely a comic worthy of getting. It's about $19.99, about $20, but you can probably find it. Actually, it's getting harder to find on Amazon, so you might this might be like a comic you might find at a convention or something, or discounted or somewhere in your local comic shop. Yeah, I wanted to get this because I enjoy Tarzan and I love anything with Planet of the Apes, but I'd like to see more. I was really hoping we'd get like a Planet of the Apes Alien Predator crossover with back when they were before with Dark Horse, but now they're with Marvel, we're not getting that. And I don't know if they still Boom Studios still has the rights, now that I think about it, to the comic rights to Planet of the Apes, because yeah, that's also under Fox. So that makes me, and I haven't seen them do a Planet of the Apes book in a while, in a hot minute, so I'm wondering if they lost the comic rights too, now that I think about it. But I was kind of hoping we'd get like something cool, like some more cool Planet of the Apes stories, like, and I guess they stopped doing the crossovers because they were like, they're not selling well, which sucks because a lot of them are really good. And I was kind of hoping for either AVP with Apes, or you know, since we're doing with time travel, you know, Terminator with Planet of the Apes. That actually been really cool. Like an ape Terminator, like that'd be really cool. Anyway, so there you go, guys. If I do recommend this, but like this is like for the major. I'd say this is like for the major fans. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below. What did you, if you've read this, what did you guys think of it? And other than that, if you haven't already, hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.